Hi there everyone, Misty here. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm going to talk to you about my experience with long-term fasting. So if you missed my last video, it went up on a Saturday, which was pretty random for me, but I talked about that I was going to do a 72-hour fast. And I shared the results over on Instagram. I was kind of filming it vlog style, but what is there really to film? I mean, I'm not eating. I could show you, drinking my water and drinking down some pickle juice, but so I decided not to, and I figured I would just do a sit down tell all about my results and stuff like that. And then I decided to do another 72-hour fast. And so I started fasting on Monday, I think. Let me see. November the 2nd. So let's start with why I wanted to do this in the first place. So if you're new around these parts, I am a type 2 diabetic. I have myasthenia gravis. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have OPLL and spinal stenosis in my spine. I had a back surgery. I'm just a hot mess express. And I was also on insulin when I started keto. So I started keto in 2017 in March, was off insulin by September. The following February, my immunosuppressant kicked in. I was on mycophenolate. Mycophenolate causes hyperglycemia, which means high blood sugars. So I was no longer able to control it with my diet because of the medication I was on. But none of us made that correlation until a whole year later. So in October of 2018, I ended up in the hospital with DKA because of a medication I was on for the diabetes. And then February 2019, I went back on insulin. So the beginning of this year, I made the goal that I wanted to be completely off insulin this year. Like that was my goal. That's what I wanted to do. The first month of January, I got down to 60 units. Then I got sick or something happened. I honestly don't remember because this has been the longest year of our lives. But I had to bump back up. And so I have been doing ketovore, I guess is what Dr. Berry calls it. And I've been doing that for months and months, I mean, almost the entire year. So my blood sugars had finally started to come down. And I thought, okay, here we go. We're going to go off insulin. The last time I went off insulin, I didn't have any issues. My blood sugars continued to be low. And of course, starting the next February is when the medicine kicked in. That's when I started having issues. But that's not what happened this time. So 2 weeks in, my blood sugar started becoming elevated. And then, what day was that? 2 Fridays ago? Was that the 23rd? Yes. So on October 23rd, I had a 4-level steroid injection into my neck. And if you know anything about steroids, is they cause your blood sugar to rise. And if you're on steroid therapy, you could eventually become a type 2 diabetic because the steroids cause your blood sugars to be so elevated. And on Friday, my blood sugar was 365. So I'd already was thinking about it. So I watched a ton of videos. I watched Dr. Berry, I watched Dr. Fong, I watched Dr. Boz, and just decided that I was going to do this 72-hour fast. I had fasted the Monday before, like I did a 24-hour fast, and I didn't have any issues. And I thought, okay, this is what I need to do to make sure that I can keep my diabetes diet controlled and not have to go back on insulin. So I started Saturday night, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do 72 hours. So when I started, let me pull up my numbers. I don't have my glasses on, so maybe I can see. We'll see. We'll see how we do. Okay, so where was the first fast? But before we get started there, I'm using the app called Zero. That's what it's called. And it helps you keep track of your fast. So when I woke up on so on the 25th, yeah, that's when I started. That was that Sunday. My fasting blood sugar was 293, and my ketones were 0.3. And at 2 p.m. that day, my blood sugar had actually gone up to 294, but my ketones had started going up that day. So 24 hours in, my fasting was to 293, and then at night it was 218, and my ketones had gone from 0.3 to 0.7. So that was the first 24 hours. Then the next morning, my blood sugars were 250, so it came down a little bit, and my ketones were 0.6. So that was Tuesday. On Wednesday, after I hit my 48-hour, my fasting blood sugar was 220, and my ketones were 0.7, and then when I went to bed that night, I was under 200. I was at 179, and my ketones were at 0.9. And then I woke up the next morning, and my blood sugar was 206, and my ketones were 0.7. When I went to bed that night, my glucose was 192, and my ketones were 1.2. So my 72 hours was up, and I started that morning at 206 with 0.7 ketones, and I ended that night at 167 and 1.1 ketos. And I thought, I'm going to keep going. So, gosh darn it. Where was I? Okay, so the next morning, which was 85 hours in. I'll try to remember to throw these up if you guys are interested. My fasting blood sugar was 186, and my ketones were 1.6. And then by hour 90, my blood sugar was down to 167. My ketones were up to 1.4. And then so I started that day at 186 and 1.6, and I ended that night at 145 and 1.6. So I ended my fast, and my goal was 72 hours, but I ended up fasting for 108. So I'm pretty sure, was that Friday? Thursday. Thursday's when I broke my fast. And did we have In-N-Out that night? I think I had a bulletproof coffee that morning, and then we had In-N-Out that night, and I just get Flying Dutchman, which is literally meat and cheese. So I thought, okay, good, here we go. We're doing this. We're on track. Everything's going great. And then I woke up Friday or Saturday morning, and my blood sugars were elevated again, and my ketones were down. And I was like, okay, clearly this steroid is still hanging around. So that's when I made the decision to do my second fast. So during my first fast, I didn't find it to be difficult, which is, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I'm so fat and that's why, but Rob went to Walmart and he found a couple of jugs of pickle juice, which I wish Clausen would sell their pickle juice because the best made is me, but it's pickle juice because I cannot take electrolytes that supplement magnesium, although the fasting drops probably have it, but I picked the one that, I'm going off on a tangent. And I had ordered the fasting drops from Keto Chow. I ordered the one that was more sodium than the other two because I'm already on a potassium pill because I take a water pill. And so I would wake up in the morning. So I woke up in the morning, on Sunday morning, I was fine. I drank probably I drank a pint of pickle juice to start my day. And I was drinking water all day. I drank tea one day. Rob brewed, we brewed some tea. I think that is Louisiana. Decaf tea. We brewed that in the coffee maker and made some tea. And then I didn't have anything else. I didn't have any drops or anything like that. And the Keto Chow drops don't have any artificial sweeteners. They're just drops. So I had a water fast. I basically just water fasted and had really great results. So I decided to start another fast. When did I start this last one? Let me look. So I started it on the Monday night. And when I started, those numbers? It looks like I just have my ketones. Did I not post it? Lord have mercy on my soul. No, I didn't. So on Wednesday, my ketones were 0.6. And I had ordered the Dr. Boz Max Strength BHB capsules, which are basically exogenous ketones in a capsule. And she claims that these pills will get you into a deep state of ketosis within minutes, 5 to 15 minutes, and then it lasts for up to 3 hours. I took my blood sugar at 15 minutes, then I took it again at an hour, I think, and my blood sugar hadn't changed. It didn't move. So exogenous ketones are bullshit. Don't get sucked into them. Don't pay $27 for a bottle of pills that don't do shit, okay? Okay, that's from me to you. So after that day, my ketones kept coming up. And yesterday, last night, where's that one? Oy vey! I take too many pictures. This is the problem. Okay. So last night when I went to bed, my blood sugar was 163 and my ketones were 1.9. That is the highest my ketones have been since I was in the hospital for DKA back in October 2018. And of course, when I woke up this morning, they were less because my liver dumped a shit ton of glucose, I'm sure. And so they had come down to 1.1, and my fasting number, I don't think I took my fasting. What was my fasting? I think my fasting number was like 202. No, it was 197. And then it bumped all the way back up to 238. This steroid is wreaking havoc on my body, let me tell you. And then my ketones were 1.1. So that gets us to today. So it gets results. It really, really does get results. And I found it to be way more simple than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd be starving. I thought I would be so hungry, because you're used to eating, right? You're used to having food. But I was down to 1 meal a day. I was doing OMAD, 1 meal a day. And so it wasn't a huge, I wasn't going from eating 6 times a day to eating no times a day. And I think what is crucial and what you need to be successful is electrolytes. And you need to get electrolytes that don't involve an artificial flavor or artificial sweetener. So you don't want something that tastes sweet because then your body's going to have a glucose response. So the Keto Chow drops, those are really, really good. Pickle juice will work as long as they're not sweet pickles, as long as it's kosher with no sugar. That'll work. I basically drink a quart of pickle juice a day, give or take. I drank 3 big chugs this morning. Every time I felt a little bit of hunger, I would have pickle juice, and that salt would satiate me, and I wouldn't need to eat. Now, Thursday, which was Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday, the last day of my last fast, I didn't stay on top of that. And I could not go to sleep because of how hungry I was. My stomach was just losing its mind. And I was so fucking hungry, but it was my fault because I didn't stay on top of the electrolytes. So if you don't listen to any other word I say, you have to stay on top of your electrolytes if you're going to fast. You don't need to worry about anything else. You don't need to buy ketones. When you starve your bodies of glucose and carbs, when you starve your body of carbohydrates, I haven't had any mental clarity. Let's just talk about that in a minute. When you starve your body of carbohydrates, then your body will automatically produce ketones. You don't need anything. You don't need to pay for anything. I paid for the drops because I didn't want a powder that had, artificial sweetener or a flavoring, because I didn't want my body to do any glucose response at all. Now that's just me. I'm diabetic. I'm doing this to get my blood sugars down. And I know that when I have something that tastes sweet, my blood sugars will become elevated. So that's what I did. And And that's probably my number one tip for you, is to make sure that you're staying on top of your electrolytes. You're not going to be able to do this if you don't stay on top of your electrolytes. And like I said, every time I felt hunger, like I had a hunger pain, I would go take a jug, take a gulp of pickle juice, and within 5 minutes I was fine. This past week I did have Rob buy me limes and lemons to put in my water. I did try sparkling water, but bleh, without a water enhancer in it. It's just basically club soda. And I put lemons in my water. I put like one wedge for, I think this is the 32 ounce tumbler from Hydro Flask. Speaking of. So, I'd put one squeeze of lemon. That would last me through the entire day. So I've really stuck to just the water. And yeah, the one thing I have not had is mental clarity, but that could be any other factors. It could be the fact that I'm still working through the steroid. It could be the fact that, I am getting a cold. Like I feel like I'm getting sick, like my throat hurts. I took some cold medicine last night before I went to bed. I was terrified it was going to kick me out, but it didn't. So, it's been, my body has some other issues, but if your body is fine and it's just something you want to do, to lose weight or something like that, then I say go ahead. I had gained up to, I think I was 396. So the last time I saw you on that Saturday, I was 384. And by the end of that weekend, I was like 396. And that was all water. I was just swollen. Steroids are awful. It helped, but they're awful. So once I was done with this fast, I was back down to 384. I'm still at 384. So I'm like at 384 and holding. And I'm hoping when I get on the scale on Saturday, which is tomorrow, that I'll be down a few more pounds. So again, I didn't do this to lose weight. I'm doing this to stay off insulin, but staying off insulin will then allow me to lose weight. So it's kind of I'm doing it more for health reasons, but the losing the weight is hopefully a side effect of it. So what I've decided to do is incorporate long-term fasting into my life, into my daily life. So on this past Sunday, I cooked enough dinners for Rob to have during the week. The week before, I cooked for him each night, and that was kind of hard. One night I made him a pizza with like carby pizza dough, and I was like, can I just lick it? Can I just lick it? I didn't, but I was like, that was the only part that was hard. And it wasn't even that it was that hard, because I do have a pretty good, amount of willpower, but still it was a little bit harder than I wanted. So this week I'm like, okay, I'm cooking everything ahead. So I made like a pot roast for him. I cooked him some chili. I made him some, zuppa toscana. He can have tacos. There was roast beef sandwiches. Like, he didn't need me to cook him anything. And that's the goal for next week too. We sat down, we figured out what we have in the freezer for him to eat, what I can cook on Sunday for him, because my goal is to fast Monday through Thursday. Yes. So I want to fast Monday through Thursday and eat Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's my goal going forward. And that's my goal until my numbers kind of even out. And my, when I'm consistently low on glucose and my ketones are consistently high, and I get to a point where I feel like I'm fat adapted, I may choose to go back to eating, either alternate day fasting, or maybe just, continue doing intermittent fasting where I'm just eating once a day. It'll really depend on how my body responds. So I spoke with my pain management doctor yesterday, because I was hoping that I could have the left, because they only did the right side of my neck. And the left side, there's a huge difference. A huge difference. Like, almost all of my nerve pain is gone from my right arm. My left arm, I can't say it's the case. Most of the ache is gone from my right arm, like my right side of my neck. Like where my buffalo hump is. The left, no. So I can tell a difference. But he basically said that you know, they can't do another one anytime soon because of the steroid and me being diabetic. And he also said that's probably all the procedures that they're going to be able to do for me, which is, I mean, this OPLL, like I mentioned to you guys before, my neurosurgeon said it's going to be an entire back surgery. It's not going to be easy. They're going to wait until basically the very last minute to do it. And I hope that's 15 years down the road, but I need some pain relief. So I'm still taking tramadol. We didn't talk about getting anything stronger. Still using the lidocaine patch. Thankfully they work. And then at night before I go to bed, I put on some diclofenac gel and some lidocaine cream, and then I take tramadol if I need it. So I can't tell you how good it felt to fast. So I don't feel like I had any mental clarity at all. And again, maybe this week it's because, you know, my body's still recovering. I feel like I'm getting a head cold. You could probably hear it in my voice. So that could be a part of it, but I don't feel like I've had any mental clarity this week. Last week, I felt like when I woke up on Monday, which was like the second day of the fast, I just woke up. Like I didn't have any, I don't even know how to describe it. Like I just woke up and I felt good. Now I still had my myasthenia issues and all those other issues, but far from that, I felt good. I didn't feel hungry. Like it's amazing. And Rob's like, well, you need to eat food eventually. And I was like, well, I could probably go 30 days. And he was like, he just looked at me funny, but I don't want to do it like that. I want to do it, you know, 1 week at a time. And the only reason why I've stretched this out to 100 hours is because I want my blood sugars down. I want them down. I want to wake up with the fasting that's at least under 170. If I can get my fasting under 170, then I'll feel like I'm okay to eat as long as my ketones stay high. And Rob's like, well, what are you going to eat? I said, I'm going to continue eating carnivore. I said, I can't introduce any carbs to this, minus maybe my water enhancer, but that's really it. And stevia for my coffee. As far as coming off the fast, I didn't have any troubles. I had a bulletproof coffee that morning. I had those hamburgers that night. I felt fine. I didn't feel bloated. I didn't feel sick to my stomach. Your mileage may vary. It's going to be completely dependent on, you know, your own body chemistry, your physiology, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I hope this was probably a rambly mess. Again, no mental clarity. So to recap, I used the app Zero. It's spelled out Zero. It's free on the App Store. So it looks like this. And they'll tell you how long you've been fasting. So my goal was 72 hours, but I've been fasting 87 hours, 28 minutes, and 21 seconds. And you can set your fast for however long you want to. There's some other things that you can pay for, but I don't need a coach. I don't need any of that. So I'm just basically using that app. I'm not using an app that tracks ketones or anything like that. Again, I felt like having pickle juice was what I needed to do. I will say on day 2 that you probably need to be close to a restroom. Especially if you're just water fasting. And so yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And the reason why I don't do bone broth or anything, it's because that has protein in it, which I'm pretty sure Dr. Berry said will break a fast. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure he says in that video not to drink bone broth if you're doing a water fast because it'll break a fast because it's protein. He also said that you could do like a teaspoon of butter and black coffee. Let me tell you, black coffee is disgusting. I'd rather not have coffee than drink black coffee. Okay. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful and not too rambly. Again, I used the app Zero. drank some pickle juice. You can make some soul water. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do. Just try to make sure that you're not doing something that's going to cause your body to have a glucose response. That's the whole point. We want to get rid of all this glucose, or I want to get rid of all this glucose, and start where we're burning strictly ketones. So we'll see how long that takes, but yeah, I'm going to keep going. You can come join me if you want to. I'm on Instagram, at Home with Misty. It's very clever. Very, very clever. Don't forget, if you are into makeup, or if you just want to come hear me ramble on about makeup, I have a new channel. It's just called Misty. I think it's linked in the description box below. I think I have, or when I've posted this, I will have removed my affiliate links. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I can't remember, but I'm no longer an affiliate with I'm no longer going to be an affiliate with anybody. I know a lot of people do this as their job, and they want you to buy their stuff or buy through their links, and I just don't want to be that way. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just don't want to feel like this is an infomercial every time you watch me. And if I ever got a sponsor, that's different. That's a one-time thing, mostly. But yeah, I just don't want to do affiliate links anymore. So yeah, that's it. A rambling mess. Did I say I got back down to 384? I did say I got back down to 384. See, no mental clarity whatsoever. Oh, the hardest part has been the commercials. Food commercials. Like, oh my word. And then yesterday, Rob heated up his tacos and he uses the shells, and I'm like, God dang, I want rolled tacos. So that's all mental, it's all mental cravings. But when you're not eating, it makes you want something that you don't want to have. But yeah, so anyway, okay, I'm finally saying goodbye, because I've said I'm saying goodbye for 92 minutes and I haven't. So bye. See you later.